Hey, I'm Sporty King, and welcome to Gift Friday. I created it because so often we hear TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Yet I always say, what allure does Friday have to the person that took their last breath on Thursday? So what I've done is I've learned to use Psalm 92 and 2, which says, "It is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening." And that's what it's all about. So I say TGIT, thank God it's today, and then TGIT, thank God it's tonight. Thus, I say that when we move the T in Thank God It's Friday from the beginning to the end, we get GIFT. And then we find out what we really should be giving thanks for. And that is, God is for today. It's a gift. So on 9 Friday, what I'll do is I'll always use one of my original poems, and its possible uses to inspire audiences online or in person. Each poem will then be my gift to you, as you'll be able to click on and download a colorful PDF copy, a keepsake copy that you can have to remind yourself that God is for today. So what I want to ask you is, do you ever need to put your foot down or take a strong stand to discipline someone that you love? This week's poem is ideal for discussion and definition of one of the most difficult and undefinable words in our English vocabulary, the word love, especially when we define it with a term we call tough love. Tough love. And so this poem will come from my book, Do You Have Any Idea How Fine You Are? Here is Tough Love. Tough love doesn't mean you have to be tough, and you sure don't need to be rough. Instead, it means you have to time your communication and interaction to most effectively transfer the message you want to send. And realize your message just may not get across until it's delivered again and again. It certainly means you have to genuinely care. Yes, that's the G. You see, emotions are not sequential or by the book. So patiently add your understanding. Most love requires another look. That look easily translates to being insightful and empathetic, not pathetic glance. Taking the time to wear the other shoe, to consider why you deserve another chance. So let the O be for obvious. All the things you'll pretend were clear. Regardless of the outcome, you'll justify your actions, reminding all concerned there was nothing to fear. So my H stands for hugs. Because what's tough about love is acting nonchalant. We must maintain our will to nurture and respect the actions that force each of us to grow. We must pledge to fight to understand the urge to motivate others based on our preferences that negate how they feel or what they know. However you define love, it doesn't mean we have to be tough. So tough love is an interesting concept that we hear all the time. What I want to do is just once again go down through the poem and read each letter and show you how to incorporate it into your life. And so first let's take the T, and that is for time. Time your communication and your interaction. All right, to effectively get your message across, and recognize that when you're talking about love and when you're talking about taking your time, you may have to repeat over and over again, because we are socialized to learn through repetition, and we need to hear a message over and over again. So no, you can't just say, hey, look, I told you I loved you yesterday, I told you I loved you an hour ago. You don't know how often it takes for you to let someone know that you love them. So you think about that. But the other part of that time, take your time and show your love, because that makes a huge difference as well. The O, I'm time. I didn't go in order. And tough. I didn't spell it in order. So the G is for genuinely care. Genuinely care. And what I wrote in the poem, you see, emotions are not sequential or by the book. Yeah, you don't feel things, oh, this is the way I have to feel right now. And you don't know when someone is going through something that makes them seem to be a little off, or you may need to reprimand them or have a discussion or whatever it is. But emotions are not sequential or by the book, as well as no emotion is wrong. Our reactions can put those emotions in a wrong category. We should feel anger. We should feel alone. We should feel exhilaration. We should feel excited. No emotion is wrong. So also don't question your emotions. Recognize that things happen based on the moment that you're in. Again, that's the time that you're spending. The U is for understanding. And that's to remind you to pace yourself. Pace your empathy, not sympathy. Empathy. Remember, I know you've always heard me say, I may not have been in your shoes, but I've sat in your row, because we're all going through something. So can you take the time to understand that someone may be having a hard time, but you have no idea what it is, and it's not necessarily against you? And that's sometimes what we do, is we decide, well, what's the problem? What are they having a problem with me? I was in the post office earlier this week, and a guy was in front of me, and we were having a conversation, and the clerk behind the window asked him, based on where he was standing, would he move over, to stand in line with the social distancing thing. And then he just kind of went off on her in a mild way. He didn't get belligerent, but he said, why don't you just make sure that the male make the line move faster, and because I'm a Vietnam vet. Oh, he, went through all of this. And then I talked to him in another way, because we were having a decent conversation. But him, myself, and two other women, as we started talking more about being thankful for God's gift of another day, he happened to be the one that said, you never know what someone else is going through. And I laughed, because I know we say, if you see something, say something. And maybe I should have said, and I didn't say it. I gotta tell you, I didn't say it, but I thought it. I thought, oh, like the way you just went off on that woman because you don't know what she's going through. It wasn't an appropriate time to say it, because I don't really know him. But hopefully the fact that he said it will make him think about it. And maybe the other two women thought about it as well. And in fact, when he left, we did kind of talk about that just a little bit. So understanding, have understanding, because it's an important part of love. And then the O is for obvious. Obvious because we act like we knew it all along. Well, I knew what I was saying. I didn't mean to come across, but I knew it was going to be all right. I knew you'd get it together. We didn't know. So again, there goes the emotion. Maybe you went off on somebody that you love because you wanted to see them get it together. And then once you found out, oh, wow, I didn't realize what they were going through. I didn't realize that was the reason they did this. And so actually that was a good reaction on their part. Oh, well, I knew it all along. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And it's okay to admit that you did not. Because the only thing that's obvious is that we had a conversation, or maybe it was just an interaction if it didn't let it be a conversation as it needed to be. So don't let things be so obvious. Understand, like we said, that everybody's going through something. So don't you just decide that, hey, I handled that properly. Be open to discussing how you could handle it a different way the next time, because we don't always know what's going on. And the last letter in T.O.U.G.H is H, and it's for hugs. Yeah, hugs, express yourself through nurturing and respect. Hug it out sometimes, and, it's like they say, don't go to bed angry. Try not to hold on to grudges. Think about it. There are reasons for separations, and but that doesn't have to be a grudge. And you can still hug somebody. It's the same as when we talk about agreeing to disagree, which is a great cliche, but a very hard thing to do. So hug and recognize that you're nurturing, and I'm respecting your opinion, even though I still don't agree with it, but I respect that that's how you live and this is how you're going to do things. So therefore, that won't be a spot that we share the way we used to, or the way we will in the future. So hug, because you have to still nurture the fact that we have a love for one another and then a respect for one another, and then pledge to listen. What I mean by that? Well, listening is the number one communication skill. So it takes us back to all of the letters: the timing, the understanding, being genuine, and what's the other? Oh, timing, understanding, and genuine, and the hugs. You have to listen. You have to listen to what somebody else is going through and why they reacted the way they did. And then maybe you might want to listen to how they reacted to the way that you reacted to them, because that can make a huge difference as well. In fact, it's interesting. We see it in our political, presidential, and vice presidential debates. They're not really listening to one another. You can see that active listening is waiting to hear what the other person says and then reacting. But what they're doing is, as soon as the other person starts talking, they start shaking their head and they're thinking of their response already, rather than listening to what the other person says. And so and I watch it that way, because since I talk about good communication, they're not modeling good communication. But guess what? In effect, they're not supposed to be. They're on a political campaign. It's a game. It's the game of politics for them. So they're right now not necessarily looking to be all empathetic and understanding what the other one is going through. They're out there to try to get their platform on board, and what they call it, getting their base activated. So that's another thing. Again, when we talk about understanding, you got to understand where people are coming from. So don't get so discouraged about what's going on with the debates. Understand what they're doing is trying to put themselves in place to exhibit the love that they think that they can exhibit, or that they can express and share through other people, in this case through our nation. So see, everything connects. You can use any poem to make a point, to get a discussion started about different things, because so many things interact and intersect with one another. So the last two things I want to do is one thing, and that is use the word love. And love, L.O.V.E, let ourselves value everyone. And it takes care of all of the words in tough as well. Pace your understanding as you choose your messengers carefully. See, that's the thing. Everyone has value. Everyone is your message. They say we can learn more from a negative role model because we learn what we don't want to do than we can from a positive role model, because we feel intimidated by what we may not be able to do. But pace your understanding, get to know what's going on, and let yourself value everyone that comes into your life for what kind of lesson you can learn from them, because the other L-O-V-E is learning ourselves. Our value is essential. You are also being chosen as someone's messenger, and your message is going to be transferred to someone who they are the messenger of. So you have to be your message of love if you want to transmit and then receive a good message of love. So learning our value is essential to us being able to letting ourselves value everyone. If I know who I am, it's easier for me to value who you are, because I know what I stand for. I know what you stand for. I know where we intersect and interact, and that's the joy and love. And that's why it's a gift. God is for today. In this day, let's be in this moment together and make sure that we work things out and recognize that love doesn't have to be tough. It just has to be love. My book, You Have Any Idea How Fine You Are, is where that poem comes from, and you can find that on my website, sportyking.com. I thank you for joining me on Gift Friday. You'll be able to click on the link and get a copy of that poem as soon as I upload it to the site. And then also I want you to recognize that Gift Fridays will go starting today. They're going to be at 11 o'clock Eastern every Friday. You can also catch me on Mondays with my Monday morning moment at 8 a.m. Eastern, and then on Wednesdays with Glue Wednesday. God loves, undoes everything. Thanks for joining me. God bless you. And there's nothing tough about love. Love is who we are. This is Sporty King, over and out. Ciao.